Nerdly presents the feed where the reels unwind. Off the real podcast, digging deep in the grind. 80 flicks, low cash, big dreams in the frame. No blockbuster hype, just the realest in the game. Reviews so sharp, we cut through the noise. Breaking down the shots with the cinematic poise. From the script to the screen, we dissect it all. Indie cinema kings, yeah, we support them all. Roundtable.
That's all it is, of course.
Very much so.
But yeah, sitting here talking to the cast and crew of Joker: The Last Laugh, a movie I will say, when we got all the submissions in and we go through all the films for selections, yours was the first film that I sat on. I always look through the titles, I'm like, Joker, I'm watching that. And then I clicked into it, Bob Barrett, I am watching that. 100%. So guys, first of all, let everyone know who you guys are and what you did on the project.
My name is Bob Barrett, and I played the Joker.
Oh shit! Sorry.
Don't do that to his back. He's the fittest man in the world has done his back. You are the fittest man in the world.
No, my name is John Michie.
And you played Batman.
I did. Sorry, I forgot that bit.
My name is Niall Kenny, and I was the music supervisor.
My name's David Bispham, and I directed it and wrote it and co-produced it. Well, sorry, I co-directed it, co-wrote it, co-produced it.
So I might end up asking some questions a little bit similar to what we did in there, but this is for our side of the website and everything like that. So do excuse me if we cover stuff we already have. But the first one, and it is going over that, is why a fan film about Batman and the Joker? Because I'm a massive fan, and if you get that wrong, I'm going to crucify you. Luckily you didn't, but why did you want to tackle this?
Gladly. Right, so I am also a huge Batman Joker fan. Joker is my favourite character of all time. I always loved Batman. I grew up with Batman and Joker, and I wanted to put my own spin on it. And it was written in during COVID, as I said in the interview earlier. Yeah. My missus found me at 7 a.m. in my pants. She came and goes, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I'm writing a Joker Batman movie." She went, "Okay," shut the door. But it's something very dear to my heart. I love the characters so much. I love their relationship.
Yep.
And there is a love-hate relationship, but they do understand each other. And Batman is one step away from being a villain. So I think he does appreciate the Joker's insanity and madness. And it was just trying to do what I wanted to see from a conversation between Batman and Joker the last time. And hopefully we did that.
And when writing this story, and what sort of inspirations were you looking towards? Or was there anything that did inspire it? Because obviously there's the juxtaposition of like Silence of the Lambs, those kind of conversations.
Yes.
You can see that in there. Was anything like that inspired that? Or?
Massively.
Okay.
Great question. So Silence of the Lambs, definitely. The Exorcist 3. Was one of the biggest ones tonally, and I sent some clips to our DOP, Jamie Knight, who's a wonderful man, great DOP. Lots of the priest entering and the detective entering the asylum where Father Karras, who's possessed in Exorcist 3. Those shots, that sound design, that lighting input was exactly the kind of vibe we were sort of going for.
Achieved.
Oh, bless you. Thank you very much, sir. So that was one of the biggest inspirations. Silence of the Lambs, Exorcist 3, and...
Was Joker the Joaquin Phoenix one?
Yes.
So I remember you talking about Jamie, talking about the grade and the lighting for...
Yes.
A little bit of that, yeah.
Thank you, Niall Kenny. I was testing you and you passed. That was very much the grade. Was Excellent. To the Todd Phillips Joker movie.
And then you've got your script sorted, you've got everything in place, hopefully anyway. You then need to start casting, and that's where these gentlemen come in. What made you guys want to take this role on, take this shot on?
There was never a question. I mean, there's no question. We talked about it. I'd known by that stage Bish for 12 years, and we talked about it a lot in that time. And it was just a given that I was desperate to do it. And then when I found out John was doing it, I think it was just, I can't think of anyone else I'd rather do it with, and it was just perfect. And it was right at the end of Holby, weirdly, because we were all on Holby for a long time, and it was right towards it. It had already sort of hit the skids, and they were taking it off air. So it was right at the end. So it sort of felt like right that we were doing it right at the end. COVID had happened. And although COVID was always horrible and awful, there's a kind of madness in the air. So actually I thought, if you're going to do it, let's do it when there's madness in the air. Because this is the maddest thing in the world. It's the greatest thing. So it just felt so right, didn't it? It just felt so right. And the script was incredible. But if Bish had rang me up and said, I'm doing it for other jokes, do you want to do it? I go, yes. Where? I'm doing it on Junction 5 off the M4. I'd say yes. Happily do it there. Okay, let's just do it.
There is no one else to play my Joker at all. Just to interject, there was a thing where I was second year at Holby, and Bob walked down the corridor. It was the first time I went, fucking hell, you should play the Joker. He went, and that was the first conversation we had. And I could have been fired, but luckily I wasn't. And we became good friends.
He's laughing like
Exactly. It was just like, it was down. Had to happen.
I mean, for me, it was the script. And it was, we were all in lockdown. No one's going out, no one's doing anything, no one was working, which I actually found quite therapeutic in a way. There was no work to get. So you're just like, right, well, I can completely chill out. I don't have to do anything. I can go walking by the sea and whatever. But I felt that the script for me encapsulated how bad our society was at that time, with the Johnson government and the corruption, the incompetence, the open corruption, and it felt like society was just going downhill rapidly. So with this script, and because Bruce Wayne is dying of cancer, and it really is, it's all over for him. He's never known it to be so bad, and so, okay, it's a crazy idea, but let the Joker out to eradicate it all, and then you start again. And it just, from a kind of simplistic sort of dramatic point of view, it just seemed like a great script which wasn't going to take too much time. It was going to be working with friends, and it was just like, well, of course I'm going to do it. I'll see you in the film studios in Norfolk whenever you want to start, and I'll be there with my lines learned. And Bob and I, we had our first rehearsal, and we just went into a tiny wee room in the hotel, and Bish was the director, and Jonathan, the other co-director. We were going to talk about it, discuss it, and he said, well, how about you do a read-through first? And we both looked at each other and said, well, we don't need to do a read-through because we know it.
Yeah.
So we just started talking, didn't we, Bob?
Yeah. It was just it.
We just started speaking the lines.
Like we'd rehearsed it for years, like we'd known it for ages, and we just did it.
And it just came out.
It just came out.
Didn't it,
It was really lovely. The first read-through they did, and it was the only read-through, so we'd planned all this stuff.
It wasn't even a read-through.
No, it wasn't even a read-through. It was just reading. But it was. We had a day booked where we were going to go to the prison set beforehand, and then because of COVID tests and everything else and the logistics of that, we had to cancel that. Everyone was clear, it was all fine, but we played COVID protocol, and so it was, as John said, me and John and Bob in this little hotel room, and the two guys read it out, and I remember having the hairs on my neck go up, and I was just like, oh my goodness, fucking hell, they're brilliant. And I knew they would be, but it was really lovely to see them do it and their spin on it and what they brought to the characters.
So that was our rehearsal.
That was their rehearsal.
Started at the beginning.
Yeah.
No, we didn't hesitate, did we? We didn't lose our lines.
They were amazing.
Went to the end.
And actually, the
Right,
shooting of
drink.
it,
That's why we did it like that.
Exactly that.
Fast forward to the bar.
Yeah.
Actually, pretty much every take we did, we ran through it the whole way through, and we asked John and Bob, would you be happy running it the whole way through? And they were like, yeah, because it's like a play. So there were the odd pick-up here and there, but generally they did run it all through, and they were word perfect, both of them, every time, which was kind of astonishing to us and all the crew. And they did it perfect every time. But they'd still bring something different to it. each time in a way that gave us some choices in the edit that we're very grateful for. They were fantastic. Very talented men.
Also, it's weird because I love a drink, but I never usually drink what I hate saying school day, but I never drink before I work. Except this, where we got hammered every night before the next day, and I thought, maybe just that's it. This is what this is. This is something other. And we go the next day, and because Bish, the way Bish is and the way Bish works, which is incredible, he kind of releases you into the world, into this amazing freedom. We went through it in order, as Bish was saying. It just, I don't know, it just had this amazing magic to it.
But so the writing's good. You guys love the writing, so you're coming on to it. Story's excellent. But at what point did you guys really know you had something? If there was a point, or
I knew it from the rehearsal thing. So when these guys delivered it, so we had this incredible set that's part of October Films that they very kindly gave us for free, actually, as a favour. We had this American-style prison, and every time I was working on other jobs, true crime stuff, and I was like, oh, I can make a film here!
Yeah.
Oh my God! But the moment these two came on, and I think there's a lot to be said of trusting your actors.
Yeah.
And also trusting your DOP, Jamie Knight, who's incredible. So I knew it would look pretty. I had John Davenport, my co-director, co-producer, so we had each other's backs, so there was a confidence in that. But just watching Bob and John in the hotel room, when they delivered it, I genuinely jumped and winced at certain points, and I got scared. And I'm a 38. Well, I'm 40 now. I was 30-something, and I jumped at certain points, and it was just incredible to, have actors of their caliber performing the things that you'd written, and it was just lovely. And it felt, I'd always had confidence in it, but once they were both on board, I knew the performances would be good, and then once we had Jamie on board, I knew it would look nice. Yeah. So
it has a really cool grade to it
and
as well.
the music.
I'm not pushing
Yes,
that. I'm just saying. I knew. Well, so from the first reading of the script, I was like, "You have to make this. This is perfect."
Yeah.
Because normally, anytime Bish sends me stuff, I will go, "Well, have you thought about this? Did you change this? Do you want to do it that way?" I'm a pedantic pain in the arse as a script editor, but I no notes. Here you go. This is ready to shoot. So I knew from that moment. But you knew, or I felt that you knew, you had something special on set on the first day because you sent me WhatsApp messages going, "Look what we've just shot."
Yes, yeah, that's true.
So it was
very true.
His phone.
That did happen.
His
That's
phone
very
camera
true.
recording the monitor, which was showing the playback.
That's very true.
And then on the day you'd sent that, so you knew lightning was in a bottle.
Yes, that's fair.
I love moments like that. There was a while back I was on a set for a low budget independent film, and the DOP and director was shooting a scene and everything. I'm just sat back watching, and it was really kind of intense scene. And I had that moment where I was just kind of looking on, and I'm watching the scene go through, and I'm like, she's really fucking good. She's a really good actress. But then the director and the DOP, they kind of turned on and looked at each other and went, we just fucking nailed that. And I was like, is that what filmmaking is? That's why I always kind of ask that question, when did you know sort of thing? And when did you know that you'd kind of hit your stride as the Joker as well?
I think you never know. You never quite know because you don't know how it's going to come over. If it feels, you go by how it feels, and I felt like, because it's quite a big performance, and and it's we were talking about it, but it just felt right. It felt like, well, whatever anyone thinks, this feels absolutely right. But I went by how Bish was reacting as well, because I knew everything was in your head, and you were reacting in a because I know how you react.
I can tell you one of the funnest bits of. So when John first arrives and he goes through Arkham and there's a shot of he goes, "Oh, he's got overexcited tonight" or whatever. We'll do this and the thing. So we had this camera set up for that, And that was where we could just shout stuff. I was like, Bob, shake the cage. Now
Yes.
pace. And that was really fun for
I
me.
kind of loved that. I kind of loved because you were
Shake
going,
the
do you mind
cage,
me? And I was
run.
going, no, tell me, because also you would do it how you would do it. He wasn't saying, oh, the joke has to be this or joke, but he was just going, move. Wave your arms. I was going, so who did it? And it was great. And I thought that was because I wanted to climb inside your head. But you never know. You never know. I mean, you never know. You just, we were nervous, weren't we?
Yeah.
When we first saw the film in Norwich.
Oh yeah.
We were next to each other going,
Well,
because you always do as actors.
Why though?
Because
you never. Well, like Bob
just
says,
never
you never quite know. You kind of think you trust your director, but you never know.
I did trust, but
Understandable.
I knew it'd be great. There's always a tiny little thing in your own little head, where you go, I wonder. But then I did, because I thought when we finished, I was so proud to have done it.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought this is an amazing thing to have done, and you just hope you do it justice. That's all. It's just that thing of hoping you've done it justice. Because also you're playing the Joker. You're playing the Joker.
Once you come off the set, then there are so many things that. I mean, Bish is in control, but we're not in control. We just go, we do our thing, and that's it. That's the life of an actor. You're out and you're on to, either the next job or unemployment or painting and decorating or whatever you have to do. And then there's all the grading and there's the music and there's the. I mean, there's so much that goes on after we've done our stuff, and I think in a way that's why you can never be too sure.
Because you also do that thing which lots of actors do, which is, we were talking about it, and I was going, well, you were fucking brilliant in it. And you were going,
Really?
You were good in it as well. And I was like, well, there we are then. But I did, but I've never trusted a director on this as much as I've trusted Bish, because I just knew that he would not allow himself to rest unless he got this absolutely right. And I knew that. I mean, I knew it was that thing of him going,
very
I will haunt the earth to the end of its existence before I give up getting this right.
What
So
I
just
love
thought,
about these people, right, so both Bob and John, I love them dearly, and I really do. But they are basically the characters.
Yeah.
So John has got a sense of calm.
Yeah.
John has got a calm in real life. He's very zen,
That's so
and he
true.
brings that to it. And Bob is a lovely man. He's certainly not as nasty as the Joker. He's just kindness and wonder, but he's nuts.
I'm not.
As I am.
But to be fair, the Joker's always the one that's in the right anyway. So
He is.
Yeah.
He is.
In my mind,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely is.
Like,
But I
I'm
think
with
they
you on that.
they
That's-
brought their dynamics to it so well, and I hadn't seen it for a little while. I'd watched it many times with other festivals and things, and it gets to the point where you see it too many times and you start feeling sick and you feel egotistical. And I genuinely felt so proud of them again today and grateful, which I've said to them both, but just their performances are wonderful, and they did me so proud. And it was the nicest job I've ever had directing, most fun. There was the craziness before, but
I think it's
two actors who were just so lovely and so receptive and wonderful in their own ways, and it was just one of the best experiences I had, genuinely.
So one of the most iconic things about the Joker, and something that you absolutely have to get right, is the laugh. How many laughs did you go through, and where did you find it? Where did you find it? Because it's very, very maniacal at times, but it's also very sincere at times. I like it.
I'm glad you like it. It's so because you're such a
I'm
big fan, and
I'm
I
a
trust
fan.
you, and you're amazing.
I
So
try not
that's-
to be, but
It just sort of happened. I didn't practice it. I just thought I'll just go, because I think as well, you with a character like that and with him, you just have to go somewhere. You have to go somewhere out of yourself.
We spoke about
We did speak
know.
about this. Go somewhere
Less
else.
was more.
Yeah.
yep.
Doing the sort of quieter laugh.
Yeah.
There was something about that, rather than doing the Jack Nicholson or the Heath Ledger or the
Yeah, because that's death is repeating what someone else
There was
has
something
done,
about it.
because they are the great. I mean, it's incredible.
lower
So you
level
thought-
laugh. There was something about that felt more sinister, and you nailed that. I think you did that. That
Yes,
was, by the way,
that
that wasn't
was-
my suggestion. That
No,
was
you
him.
let me. You
Then
let
went,
me just do. do that.
There's something about that really touched a nerve for me.
One of the things I loved, so many things I loved about this, but one of the things is they're older.
Mm-hmm.
So all the Jokers you've ever seen, apart from Nicholson, most of the Jokers you've ever seen are young.
Yeah.
And he's older. I mean, he's gone to pot. He's in the jail. He's huge. His hair is out here. There's no sort of like I'm wearing this, and he's in the costume. I loved all that because I just thought he's an older guy. So the laugh has got a sort of pain to it.
Yeah.
Because he's been in jail all this time,
Yeah.
And so all the laughs always changed, but that was just what came out really. Rather than me thinking it must be a different, it must be a different laugh. It just all came out really, I suppose.
And John, was there ever any point where you were like, am I not getting to wear the cape and cowl here?
Well, I've come in with a very bad back today, so feeling like an octogenarian sitting here. I mean, talking of his disability, as in his cancer and sort of not being able to even walk properly, I was trying to use that, in contrast to what you've just described, the cape, as this really is the end.
Yeah.
It's kind of so over. And you were saying earlier how you say, well, the Joker's always right. So, I mean, I and just listening to you say that, I'm thinking, well,
are you the bad guy?
Not the bad. Well, but I mean, anyway, good and bad need each other. So, are they the same?
Yeah.
There's a shady side of a mountain and there's a sunny side, but they're both the mountain. Beginning to sound like some crazy.
Not at all.
No,
Not at all. That makes sense.
You're touching on something.
So I think that
Yeah.
walking. I mean, we had to. Do you remember we made the decision of does he walk up to the bars? And I said, would it be good to have a chair? And said, well, there probably wouldn't in reality be a chair there. But anyway, this is a drama, and so there could be a chair. So that when he brings the chair over and sits it down in front of the Joker, then that was a kind of seminal moment for me. I know it sounds simple, but it's just sitting down because I can't fucking stand up.
Yeah.
I'm actually unable to. I'm in so much pain, and all the time he's covering the pain, whilst Jack the Joker is howling in all sorts of ways that he'd probably want to howl in. But a lot of the physicality came from just that moment. And then every time I got up, and I remember Bish saying to me, make sure you just, find it hard. Well, it was only one time, I think. It was one time.
There was always order.
Make it hard to get up.
And you feel it.
Yeah.
I do. Well, I do when I watch it. It's always order. And
And
there's
then-
that slight, it's beautiful.
And then
For me.
there's the moments of walking up and down,
Yes.
which apart from anything else, you needed some movement in it, otherwise it would become too static. I mean, Bob got to move around a lot, but do you know what I mean, in his cage, in his cell. But so there was the movement kind of up and down the bars, and also as an actor, whilst you're doing that, and you're very aware of how good that looks from a lighting point of view. So I mean, I can't remember your original question. Sorry, but
Just did you get to wear the cape and cowl? Were you
right.
gutted
Obviously
about
it's
it?
like- so
Would you have
but
loved
in a
to?
sense, he's handing it on to
Yeah, I get that.
Kill Me Jack, and
Yeah.
it's you now.
Weirdly,
I would have
John
worn it. I
turned
would have
up.
loved to have
actually.
worn the cape.
John turned up on set dressed as Batman, and we went, John, that's not necessary. Sorry, guys.
Why don't you like the tights?
It was Adam West.
Adam West is who I remember as a kid watching it. Adam West, I watched it all the time.
Loved the Adam West.
One of the better versions, absolutely.
It was.
Was there ever anything in your mind, and I know we kind of talked about this in there, but there is a little stinger at the end of this short that I absolutely adore because she's one of my favorite. She's my favorite character in all of DC. Would you ever consider doing like a Mad Love kind of like spin-off?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If I was paid to.
Because again, it's one of my favorite Batman stories as well.
Yeah.
So like, would you? And you kind of have her come out, and instantly I popped. I'm a wrestling fan, so I popped for that. It was just like, oh, here we go. and then it just sort of, you skip off, and I'm like, no, don't end now. I was glad it did, but would you ever consider that?
Yes,
Yeah.
100%. That was the story that I wanted to tell, and I like the idea of the two
You talked
guys.
about it. You talked
Finally,
about
I
it,
had.
I think, yeah.
But there's absolutely things we could do. But that was, I was way more interested in Batman and Joker's last conversation, how that would go down.
Yeah.
Genuinely, that to me was so interesting,
Where,
and these boys delivered so well. It just
where did that initial sort of like, I know we've already kind of touched on it, but where did that I want to see that last conversation.
I think from Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns, actually, and
Right.
the whole, and Old Man Logan, comic books like that,
We don't
and
talk-
Logan the movie.
We don't talk about Marvel.
No, we don't do that. But it was those things. The sort of the what happens at the end when everything's not perfect and it's not it's not glamorized, and these two characters who ultimately do love each other. Strangely, they understand each other more than anyone else ever will.
Mhm.
They're like soulmates, but they are their nemesis, and I love that. And I think these boys conveyed it so well. The longing, the love in the eyes, but also the disdain. Like they hate each other. John does a lovely thing where he gulps.
Mhm.
And he's staying stoic as Batman, as Bruce Wayne,
As he has
but he
to.
gulps through fear when Bob does this terrifying, lovely thing of going, ah! And John keeps the eyes as they are, but he gulps. But even the smiles that they do to each other, there's a longing, there's a love, there's an understanding, and I thought that was quite powerful for me.
Yeah, there's a
It
lot
was
to be
very
said
nice.
for those scenes where literally the two of them are just looking at each other. And
Yes.
the bar's in the middle, and you're just sitting there going, "Oh man,
Yes.
this is cool."
Yeah. Oh,
'Cause
thank you,
I'm
sir.
just a big nerd.
Thank you.
What would you guys say? And I know you've been in this game for a good long while now, and you've been prolifically working over the years. But what would you say you've learned the most about yourselves while making this short movie?
That's a great question.
Who's going first? Do you want me to?
Yeah.
Mine is, so COVID, unfortunately, that literally the day before we were filming, which was supposed to be this rehearsal day, I was picking up people from the station. I think it was all self-funded, and me and John Davenport were driving around, doing stuff, booking hotels, everything else. And we were producers on it, there was no one else. I'd love to have the time to really, truly prep again and have those rehearsals and do those recce's. So it was made off the cuff. That's the only regret for me about the whole film is I think I could have given it a hell of a lot more had I had that day of not driving around like a lunatic. However, I'm very proud and pleased with what happened and
gonna
everyone
say,
involved. But
do you not think that maybe
it might have added.
lent into it a little bit, like the
Might have
chaos of
done.
it all?
Might have done. But I was sort of the directing process itself. It was a sort of blur,
Yeah.
which I loved. I enjoyed it very much, and it was the best job I had ever. Not a job, but project I had. But I'd just love to have had a slightly clearer mind of a day of prep, just a bit longer,
It's understandable.
if that makes sense.
Yeah, no.
Other than that, it was a blast. That's it.
Well, I mean, it's kind of reminded me. It's been a while since I'd done a job, for a friend, so not being paid, and it reminded me that it gives you a kind of freedom. Obviously, it's not ideal that none of us got paid. Of course, Bish would love to have.
What are you talking about? Bob got paid. Bob got a massive paycheck.
What? How much did you get?
Oh, like thousands, John. Thousands.
I got double my rate.
Right, I'm leaving now. But there's a kind of freedom, and Bob and I were talking about it earlier. Actually, there is a freedom because, I mean, obviously you always want to be free to give your ideas when whatever job you're doing. I have to say, a lot of the time, just not listened to, and I don't know why that is. But when you're not being paid, you tend to get listened to much more. And so I think, I mean, Bob had all his ideas, I had my ideas, which Bish and Jonathan took on, and well, I still have ideas. I'm still chatting to Niall about the music, aren't I?
Yeah.
Which in in a big budget thing, I probably wouldn't even have that opportunity. So that was nice. It was a kind of freedom, and it was good to be reminded of that. You know, we just hope that if we work for him again, we'll get some fucking money.
I'm going to try my best. Their ideas actually all did make the project better.
Excellent.
By the way,
Excellent.
they genuinely did. Hand on heart, they were great ideas.
That's the thing I learn every time I relearn, and every time I work with Bish, is he trusts the right people, and when you trust the right people, then magic happens, and you get incredible results. Like the two gentlemen here, the
Like
fantastic performance.
Like you.
Never mind me.
Absolutely
but,
you.
The DOP.
No, Paul.
Knowing,
It's
no,
us,
like,
it's us.
so Jamie Knight's putting faith in him and going, this is the man who can deliver.
He's an absolute legend.
Yeah.
Jamie Knights, saying his name again. Jamie Knights,
Yeah.
what a man.
He is amazing, man. He's amazing.
But I mean,
Hero.
I agree with you, Niall. It's like, I think there's one of the most important things you can give as a director is not your technical skill, not your ability to see it, whatever, but just to, I would like a director to be called allowers. Allow people to do their thing, because so often people are restricted and feel they can't do their thing, and they feel they need to do what's expected of them,
Right, okay.
rather than what they've got inside them. And so I agree with you. He allows, and allowing is a very, very important thing in our industry.
Excellent. And anything you kind of...
I was going to say, and it's a similar thing to what everyone has said, but if you love and respect people, say yes. Always say yes. Don't even think twice about it. Whatever the circumstance, just say yes, because you know it's going to be something amazing. You know it's going to be something that's really worth doing. And I think when I was doing it, I think I kept thinking to myself, never be, if you feel it's right, just go for it.
Yeah.
Go for stuff. Just really, even because film, obviously, there's a lot of thing about film. Don't do too much, and which is right, and I agree with that. I get that sometimes, but with this, I just thought if the circumstances are right, just don't hold back. Don't go. Oh, I can't. Can I? Just don't second guess yourself. I mean, I tend not to second guess. I'm not. Guy Henry used to work on Hull. We used to say, "You don't have a third eye when you work." And I think that's not a good thing at all, because I should be aware of when the camera. I don't even know when the camera's there, and I just go do it. And he was going, yes, but he was going, no, it's a good thing. I was going, well, but then I did thought with this with the freedom one felt, you just thought, okay, that's just, if it feels great, it feels right, just go for it. And so actually, the relief is that when you watch it, I mean, I'm intensely proud. I'm not often proud of things. I'm intensely proud of this film. I think when we watched it, I was like, this is fantastic. This is amazing, because it's something really amazing about it. I think.
Yeah.
It really is. I mean, and I'm incredibly proud to be part of it. Really.
I'm not crying, you're crying.
So with all of that, you guys obviously had an amazing time on this. You've brought the right team together, and again, you've allowed them to do their thing. Is there, if money wasn't an option, is there a dream project you would all come back together for and really go for it?
Many.
Most of them have been mentioned today. All the things that these guys mentioned, I'm like, are you
100%.
kidding me?
I know for a fact, all I can say about that is there's a few things bubbling over, but I would always want John and Bob and Niall involved in every project I do. 100%. And there's a trust,
But the next one's about a
belief in
nunnery,
the
so I
talent.
don't know where you're going to get that from.
A nunnery?
A nunnery, not joking. And we're still going to be
You've got to have it.
Are you doing Nuns on the Run too? With you guys,
I would do exactly.
I'd
We
watch
should
that.
do that.
Niall's
Sorry,
playing the nun. Bob's playing the baby. I'm playing the... Oh, God.
But how would that...
John's playing... I don't... No, generally, every project, they're such fantastic actors, and there's something for me about working with people, and with Niall, like our shorthand of making music, and when you trust and love someone, because filming can be quite intense and stressful at times, when you have people you genuinely know and trust, and you've got that love and passed with. There's something about that for me
Yeah.
that means a lot. So everything, basically. And who knows what the next thing will be. There's a few lined up, but I would happily, hopefully they'll say yes. They might say, fuck off, bitch. Not again. You scorned us once.
How much?
But I would love to work with them all again.
It doesn't sound like they would say that. It doesn't sound like they would say that. And I'm going to start wrapping out now. But first of all, what is everybody, apart from a dream project that we could come up with, what's everybody doing next? What are you working on next that we can see?
The thing, so it's not what I'm doing next, it's what I've done,
Okay.
which I still haven't seen, because I don't know why I'm quite nervous about seeing it, but
Human Centipede 4. Sorry.
I did could come here actually. I did a film last year called The Estate,
Okay.
and it's directed by a guy called Carlo Nero, and his parents are in it, who are Vanessa Redgrave and Franco Nero,
Amazing.
and it's based on the cherry orchard. And I really enjoy. Not as much as I enjoyed this, but I really enjoyed doing it. We had a lovely time. It had a lovely cast. He played my mum in it, and he played the sort of my manservant in it, and it was great. It was really good. They've all seen it. They're all very pleased with it. So, and I haven't seen it. So that should be coming out later in the year, I think. So I'm quite intrigued to see how that goes. It could be the last time the two of them ever worked together on a film. I think that's kind of one of the things about it. So it could be good. It could be good.
Cool.
Working with her was amazing. It was like working with John.
Legend of
It
the
was
field,
literally.
isn't
It was just literally. I thought, because I've always loved her, because she does that. She just goes for it. There's no sort of. She never questions, but she just does it. And we had a wonderful time, and we had a great working relationship on it. So hopefully that's all right.
With Vanessa.
With Vanessa.
Great.
I fucking love
She
her.
directed me once
She what?
in a really catchy title, but way back in the day when when the left was the left. It was the WRP. I wasn't a member of the WRP, the Workers' Revolutionary Party, in case no one knows. I was not a member, but I was asked to play Trotsky, and I
You'd be an amazing Trotsky.
yeah, well, you're only as good as the script, mate. Anyway, I just have to tell you the title of it, the catchy title of this WRP play. It was the 1917 October Socialist Revolution, then and now. Oh yeah,
Rolls
I
off the
gotta
tongue.
go and see that one.
I'd go with Joe to the last laugh. I think that's a good title. That's hilarious.
Yeah, but great lady.
She's mad as a mark. She still is.
Mad.
She still is.
In a very, very nice way, but
Mad is good.
She was.
Mad is good.
embraced
We're
the
all-
mad.
She said,
we're
"I'll
all-
tell you one thing.
we're all
There's
that
thousands
way,
of
aren't we,
stories."
Bish?
We are.
Because the first lady was terrified of her, because she was horrible to him. And he said, "Okay," and he was from South Africa or something. And he went, "Okay," and turn over and wait! I need a second. I need a second. Don't go now. I need a second. He was like, "Okay," and he went, and there was a silence, and she went, "What are you doing? Why did you shout action?" And he said, "You said you needed a second." "I've had a second." I was just on the floor. I was like, "What's going on?" All she wanted was literally one second.
Just the one.
Just the one.
Just the
I thought,
one.
God, you're going to work with Bish. Bish would love you so much. God, it was amazing. It won't be like this, but it will be. It's yeah. So there we are.
Hammer to the head.
Hammer to the head.
And in terms of next projects?
So we've got an Exorcist film that we're looking at.
Yeah, you mentioned that,
Got a few other shorts on the go. And you mentioned working with these chaps again. So on the long finger, we've got a political thriller, which I'm looking to John Michie at for
Yes.
a potential presidential candidate, and also depending on what budget, if we get a budget, it would be ideal to shoot in Vietnam or Thailand for a retired boxer, Bob Barrett.
Nice.
I love that.
But so there are my dream projects that are on my back burner that I would love to involve these two gentlemen with.
That sounds amazing. Oh, bloody hell, that
But,
sounds amazing.
There you go. We're all excited now.
We're all excited now. We're all
See
really
what Bish
excited
says.
now.
Bish drives the car.
Well, you've got to commit now. So.
Both of which are things we talk about all the time, and yes, I want to do
Yeah.
massively. And I think there's a huge thing of working with people you love, as I've said
Yeah.
before.
And we love creative producers who provide money
Yes.
to do
Now,
the
They're our
project.
favourite.
that's the
Yeah,
next
then.
thing. So, I've met an amazing producer recently who seems to be able to find finance for short films and features, etc. And it's still low budget and all the rest, but trying to build the team and understanding what everyone wants to do, slowly but surely, it seems to be coming together. So it's now waiting for. I've learnt a hell of a lot from the last laugh.
Yeah.
I really have, and things I'd like to do differently, things I'd do better. I'm really proud of it. I'm really pleased with it. I'm proud of everyone involved. But just to have not have the stress of organising the logistics and just being creative, which I know is everyone's wish, and you've got to still get involved with that stuff. But I'd love to be able to just focus on the directing and the creating and the writing, than also thinking about where do people stay in a hotel and blah blah blah, which you have to do. And I'm not naysaying, but you don't do that, do you? You're directing. You want to try and just think about the story.
Yeah.
And no one's got time. Everyone's working. Everyone's got a 9-to-5 job, or I'm currently a first AD at EastEnders, directing a block in August,
Nice.
which is
Which is
lovely.
great.
Very grateful for.
Absolutely.
But there's no time in life to stop and think about what you actually want to do.
Yeah.
So it's hard to put these projects together.
That's
So
why
just a
Niall's
bit of
taking some
time.
off,
Yes.
isn't it, Niall?
Yeah,
One of the many reasons.
there's something to that. There's a
'Cause you
thing
need
where there are
time off.
so many talented people in the industry who are also working their bollocks off just to get by, and they've got great ideas, great projects. There's a million of them, who've got great concepts, great. All the films we saw at this festival, fantastic movies. I was so impressed by the quality of work that we saw at this festival.
Such
Yeah,
a
same
nice
here.
But guaranteed,
Yeah,
they'll
really,
all have a day
really
job,
brilliant.
and they're like, "Fuck, we had one day to put this together, or however long they put it." So it is hard. So I guess the next thing, I just wish I had a bit more time.
Yeah.
That's all.
But having said that, you always have made the time. You've always made stuff. You have. And you're
yes.
both the same. You both create stuff all the time. And I think that's extraordinary. Because a lot of people
bless
talk
you,
about doing stuff. There's a lot of chat.
Yep.
Tell you what, one day I'm going to do this thing, and I know it's going to be great, and blah blah blah, and hopefully, and then you meet them 5 years later, and you go, what happened with that thing? It's still, we're still doing it, and you go, no, but you just did. You just got up and went, right, I don't care. I'll film it. When you did guerrilla filmmaking, when you did, and you go
Illegally.
around, and you but
No,
you go,
legally, Bob.
legally,
Silence, Bob.
just legally.
We never did anything
And you go around,
illegal.
but you make film. You make.
We never worked with that gorilla.
You make,
We don't know
you
him.
Never.
make films.
Never.
I never went in that zoo. But you make films. You make films, and that's extraordinary. It's in your bones and it's in your blood, and that's the thing. I think.
Yeah, you get stuff done.
You
No
do
matter-
get stuff done.
No matter the
So-
obstacles, you get stuff done.
So on that,
Crime Watch included.
going in with that, and
Yeah.
this is for everyone. What does get you up in the morning and pursue this this career, pursue being in this industry? What fires the belly still at this point to keep pushing?
That's a good question.
Well, interestingly, during I think it was the German film when that was on. We were watching this afternoon. I can't remember the name. What was it? Karma is a Hitch.
Okay, right.
And you turned to me and you said, "Film is the one unifying thing across everything. Like it's."
You've had a lot to drink today, haven't you?
Like,
Every day.
That's super profound.
it
Really is.
crosses borders.
True.
Yeah.
Goes across.
I'm
all
very proud of
boundaries.
myself for that, actually. I
Yeah.
did say that. Thank you. Yes.
And nothing more so than DC in this kind of work. Is it?
Yeah.
Absolutely every single culture.
It
in
touches
the
every
world gets
audience.
it.
Yeah. So, just to, and the question you asked when we did the Q&A before, it was like, what inspired you when you have the opportunity to do the thing that you sat down as a kid and go, what is this magic?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
We sort of have to remind ourselves every so often, like, oh no, we do that, and that's our job, and we get to do that. So that's
Absolutely.
Yeah.
the opportunity, again and again. That's why we keep saying yes to these things, because we're getting to play as grown-ups.
Yeah. We all ran
like
away
that.
to the circus, and
Yeah.
we're still there. We're still there.
Still
We're
there.
still in the circus, you know, literally.
Well,
Which is good.
on that
that
bombshell.
And Bob's being sectioned tomorrow.
But yeah, I just want to say thank you to you guys, because I am a big Batman fan. We've already spoken about it. I showed you my back, which was quite embarrassing.
Oh,
but,
sir.
but
No,
I
it was
did,
great.
but I
We
did.
love your back.
But honestly, like, I've watched a lot of fan films for projects like this, and they don't always hit the nail on the head. And I feel like you guys, 100% from the writing right the way through, the way Arkham looked is just fantastic. It's got a little tinge of Nolan, but also a little tinge of Schumacher, which is two of my favourite sort of directors in terms of Batman. And you got a little bit of both of that, so that was super sexy for me. And then you got two fantastic actors putting in fantastic performances. So thank you for giving us your movie.
My man, thank you
Thank
for that
for
review.
it.
Pleasure,
And,
thank you.
Oh, that nearly made me cry.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
That's amazing.
So much. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So kind.
So
And thank you
much.
for taking the time to do this.
No,
Of course,
it's been
thank you
an
for having
incredible
us, my
pleasure.
man.
I've got to get
Thank
feelings
you.
in my back. There you
I
go,
have an
bud.
idea that I should talk to you about.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, but no, honestly,
Dude,
you've
as
made a
always.
Great film, and
Thank you, brother.
get it put on YouTube. I think